They thought she was just the mechanic's daughter. They thought if they laughed enough, she'd blush, drop the wrench, maybe back out the door and disappear. Instead, she turned that engine over and set off a chain reaction nobody in that shop was ready for. And yeah, if you told me I'd be at the center of it, I'd have laughed right back at you. But let me back up a sec. It was one of those sweltering Tulsa days, the kind where the air clings to your skin and your shirt sticks to your back before you even make it out of the truck. I'd barely thrown the old Chevy into park when the heat hit Meffelt like a warning or maybe a dare. I was 17, lunch sack pressed to my side, sneakers crunching across the gravel outside Blevins Auto and Diesel. This rundown garage that smelled like hot oil and yesterday's sweat, ceiling fan working harder than the guys in the shop, pushing around that same hot air as if doing anyone a favor. I walked in, and there was Ron Bradock, guy who owned the play stall, broad, camo cap. Never smiled unless it was to bite down on some smart remark. He didn't say hello. He just jerked his chin at the back. "Your old man in?" he asked, voice like gravel. "Brought him lunch," I said, and tried to walk on, but Ron's eyes slid over to the Camaro parked in the corner. Hood up, engine guts hanging out like a crime scene. "Tell you what," he said, and now the whole crew was listening, Leo and Travis, mugs of burnt coffee frozen halfway to their mouths. "That car's beat us. Why don't you show us what your daddy taught you? You ever feel someone throw a dare at you just so they can laugh when you drop it?" That's what Iwasa set up for the punchline. But the room went quiet, like even they were curious how far I'd go. I tossed my backpack down, slid my hair back, gloves swallowing my hands. "Just don't cry when I fix it," I said, trying to play it cool, got a couple snickers, but mostly silence. I leaned into the Camaro, let my eyes run over the chaos inside. Broken hoses, dead wires, rust chewing up everything that used to shine. I listened, not for a sound, but for that feeling, you know? The one my dad taught me to wait for. The car always tells you what's wrong. You just gotta listen without thinking you already know. Travis muttered, "You ain't gonna get far just squinting." But I grabbed the multimeter, started checking things. Battery dead, but not the culprit. Starter fine. Alternator same. Leo and Ron watched, arms folded, quiet except for the ticking fan. 5 minutes. 10. I didn't say a word. Then I traced a wire under the dash and froze. Something wasn't right. Did someone rewire this thing recently? I asked. Ron grunted. Had a guy from Norman. Charged me $800 for nothing. I slid further under the dash, arms scratched up by metal, sweating like a boxer in round 9. That's when I saw it ignition wire crossed with a voltage feed, wrapped all pretty as if to fool the next poor soul. I slid out, grease on my cheek, hands shaking but steady. "Someone did this on purpose," I said, and you should have seen how fast Ron's expression changed. "You accusing us?" he barked, but I shook my head. "I'm saying it was meant to waste your time, make you doubt yourself, make you quit before you figure it out." They let that hang. I got back to work, feeling my dad's voice in my head, fingers tracing the lines, unscrewing the distributor cap, working slow every move, watched by 3 grown men who, up until this moment, figured I was just dropping off a sandwich. "What now?" Ron asked, but his voice was softer, a little respect sneaking in around the edges. "I'm going to fix what someone broke on purpose," I said, and Leo let out a whistle. The air changed. No jokes, no rolling eyes, just that scratch of metal on metal as I undid the sabotage following the wire, finding the bypass tucked under insulation, the false ground that would have fried the ECU. "If I'd powered this on, you'd have lost more than an engine," I muttered. Ron rubbed his neck, eyes wide. "He always said you were better than him," he said. I smiled, not cocky, just sure. He wasn't lying. I got the car ready, replaced the fuse, double-checked the coil, feeling all their eyes on me. "How long before she runs?" Ron asked. 10 minutes and a jump. They didn't talk. I slid into the seat, twisted the bypass in place, nodded for Ron to hand me the cables. The engine sputtered, coughed, then roared, like it was coming back to life after years underground. The look on Ron's face? Like he'd seen a ghost. The shop didn't laugh, they just stared, quiet as church. But that wasn't the end, no. It was just the start. Ron asked again about the sabotage. Not just bad work, I told him. Somebody wanted you to sell this car for cheap or walk away. Leo leaned in. But why mess with an old Camaro? I said, because if you know what you're doing, you can flip a car like this out of state, switch the VIN, it disappears. Now they really listened. Leo suggested checking the glove box inside was a GPS tracker, small and black, like something a repo guy would use. Someone's been keeping tabs, I said. Ron paled. Maybe the car was stolen, I guessed. He called my dad, Eddie, who had a buddy in the State Bureau to run the VIN. The tension in the shop felt like a live wire. A few minutes later, while Ron made the call, I sat there thinking machines. People treat them like they don't remember, but they do. Leo tried to make a joke, but the mood had shifted for good. When Ron came back, his voice was flat. That Camaro might be part of an old case fraud, chop shop, you name it. Someone planted that GPS hoping it'd lead to whoever got the engine running, I said, and suddenly Ron looked like a man who regretted every dumb joke. Didn't mean to throw you in the fire, kid, he started. I stopped him. You didn't have to think. Just had to treat me like I was worth listening to. That quiet after, yeah, that was the real respect. We locked up the Camaro, but I noticed a white pickup across the street, parked too neat, windows dark, the driver just sitting there, not moving, not even pretending. I texted my dad. Car at Ron's. Something's off. I went back inside, told Ron. White Chevy, dark tints, watching us. He looked and went pale. That's the Norman guy. The tension was thick. Don't poke the bear, Ron said. He's waiting to see if you move the car. We had the Camaro out back. As soon as we did, the truck pulled up. He gets out, boots, jeans, no smile, and asks if I work there. Today I do, I said. He asks about the Camaro. Not for sale, I reply, standing my ground. Ron steps in, and it gets heated. The guy all but threatens us. If the car disappears, no one asks questions. You keep your shop. Everyone stays quiet. Ron doesn't blink. You sabotage my shop. Next time it's the cops. The guy leaves, but not before telling me I shouldn't get mixed up in things that don't concern me. Then don't bring your problems where I work, I tell him, and yeah, that felt good. That night, I sat on the back steps, iced tea in hand, Dad beside me. You all right? He asked. I said yeah, but honestly I was rattled. I didn't go there to prove anything, I admitted. Just dropping off lunch. He smiled, squeezed my shoulder. That's how life works. You show up for one thing and end up in the middle of something bigger. He was right. That car's tied to something more, he warned. You woke it up. The next morning, Ron called, voice sharp. Car's gone. Bay was locked last night. Gone this morning. No broken locks, no tire tracks, just gone. The guy was waiting for it to run, I said. That might be the best thing, Ron replied. He's not hiding anymore, and we got everything documented. Let the authorities handle it. But Janelle, you did more than fix a car. You dragged a ghost into the light. And maybe that's all any of us can do, right? I stood up, Dad holding my bag. Ready, he asked. I nodded, feeling like I'd stepped into something bigger than a garage, bigger than a Camaro, bigger than lunch runs or bad jokes. I was proof you don't need a shout to be heard, don't need permission to be strong. That when you know what you're doing, really no people can doubt you all they want. But the truth is like an engine. Once it runs, you can't ignore it. If you've ever been underestimated, told to wait your turn, told you don't belong it, let your work talk. Let your hands show them. When they dare you, don't just accept it, redefine the challenge like I did. And hey, the world's going to watch. The real question is, what are you going to show them? So, what do you think? Was it right to push back, or should I have walked away? Where's the line between fixing a mess and inviting more trouble? Drop your thoughts, because out here, it's never just about the car. It's about who's behind the wheel and who's brave enough to drive.